Ottawa's Lansdowne Park is about to get a $419 million makeover, and it's going to completely change how people live, invest, and play in the city. Hey guys, I'm Dean Marjanovic, and today I am going to be going through everything you need to know about Lansdowne 2.0. So let's go into the video and break it down. So the $419 million city-approved redevelopment is the biggest in decades. So here are some key components to the makeover. A brand new state-of-the-art event center, which can hold 6,600 people for hockey events and 7,000 plus for concerts. If you're looking to invest, residential towers with 770 new units, modern condos above retail space. And then obviously we're going to be getting some new retail and dining, which I'm a huge fan of. I love it when the city has some pizzazz to it, has some liveliness. You can go do some shopping. There's some nice dining areas. I'm really excited for that. And obviously, can't go wrong with public spaces. Great place to walk your dogs, a new sledding hill and viewing hill, art installations, and so much more. And another big one is we're getting a stadium upgrade. So new stands and a complete overhaul of the sports facilities. The big question mark is, how long is this going to take? So phase one between 2025 and 2028, that's going to be the event center and the public spaces. So we'll be seeing that in the next coming years, and I'm excited to see that. That should be a real big hit in the city. Phase two, that's the stadium upgrades, and that's going to happen between 2028 to 2030. And finally, for phase three, between 2031 and 2034, we're going to be getting the residential towers and the retail podium. Now, why does this matter? This is Ottawa's urban lifestyle upgrade, and it's going to be walkable, vibrant, and investment ready. Now, we're going to go into section 2. Why does this matter to buyers and investors? Now, obviously, anything in the surrounding areas is going to get an immediate property uplift because of the proximity to Lansdowne 2.0. So anything in that area is most likely going to see an update in the property values going up. Lifestyle perks is a huge one. You're going to see a lot more green space, a lot more walkable areas, convenience, concerts, hockey, outdoor events. I love that. I love it when we have outdoor events, especially in the summertime, spring, a lot more to do in the area. The other thing is the convenience. We're going to be close to the O train, walkable everywhere, close to the Glebe, Old Ottawa South, and Centertown. Having that as a big kind of hub for everybody to, I believe in the walking. Obviously the city believes in biking. So having that grow is going to help the city, become more vibrant and become a place to actually come visit more often. Now, section 3 is, potential concerns and things to watch for. This one is one that I'm not a huge fan of. It is the construction disruption. So tons of noise, traffic. That is one thing to watch out for. You got to keep in mind that Bank Street, where Lansdowne goes through, is already a busy street, especially when there's concerts and events happening. Construction is not going to help with that. So that's one thing we got to keep in mind. So in those 3 phases, you're going to be hitting some traffic most of the time. The other part with construction is you're going to see density grow, right? So you're going to have more workers out there, you're going to have more trucks out there, but also as it becomes more and more popular, the density is going to grow in that area. Now, the other one is market absorption risks. So this one, as more condos are starting to come up for sale, it's going to temporarily increase the supply in the area. Now, depending on when they start releasing these condos that are going to be available, that is going to be a big question mark on what's happening in the area, because some of those condos, maybe some of those condo owners in the area are going to be wanting to upgrade to Lansdowne 2.0 for those condos, right? So it might increase some of the current inventory in the market, but it also will increase the supply in the inventory for the new builds as well. So keep an eye on that. It might be a lot of inventory, it might not be, but we shall see what happens when they start releasing those condos. Now, we know that they're going to be focusing on green space, but the other thing is it comes with trade-offs, right? So as construction begins, you're going to not see as much green space to begin with, but as it finishes, you're going to see it more and more, and it's going to become a lot more vibrant. So in the short term, it's not great, but in the long term, I think it's a great recipe for that. So what does this mean for buyers and investors in the area? So for first-time buyers, it's an opportunity to live in the downtown core or the center city core, and it's going to be an opportunity to live near transit and all that stuff. So I think we're going to see a big sprawl coming from the kind of student areas, so people that are going to Ottawa U and Carleton University. That is going to be probably a good area for them to be living. I mean, Carleton already is very close by, and you see a lot of student housing in the nearby areas, but I think that's going to grow even more, especially as most people in that age group do want to be out and about and in those areas. So I expect that to grow. Investors and landlords are probably going to be in line waiting for these because typically that area does demand a pretty high rent. And I think the rent demand is going to be pretty high there to continue, right? Especially if you're in Lansdowne 2.0. Lansdowne is already a pretty nice place, and the rents are pretty high in that area. But I think as more and more stuff grows there, we're going to be getting rents higher and higher in that area. And especially the fact that they're really close to transit, that's going to help a lot. And the fact that a lot of these landlords are probably not going to be having to need to pay extra for parking because of so much walkability and the proximity to transit. Now, what does this mean for families and long-term homeowners? So people that are living in the area, they're probably going to see a really good effect on their current home equity. But it also means the people wanting to move in there are most likely going to be okay with paying a premium to live there because of all the convenience, the food, the shops, and being so close to this city core and still having highway access and all that. I think that is who we're going to see, families that want to live in the core, don't want to be out in the suburbs. This is going to attract them quite a bit because it's going to give them a lot for their kids to do, for them to do, and still have a lot of convenience. So convenience typically does require a premium, and I don't see a reason why, people right now are already paying a premium to live in that general area. I think a lot of people are still going to be wanting to move there as one of the specific areas. Now for sellers, what does this mean? So in the immediate, I think we're going to see a spike before major redevelopment. So, we're if you want to sell and you're thinking of holding on until this is done, it might be a good idea, right? Because you might be getting a huge benefit. Because what's going to happen is, as soon as they start building Lansdowne 2.0, you're going to see a lot more. The land value of one is going to go up. So if you have an older home and it's primed for a redevelopment lot, that might be a good opportunity to sell. But you want to get in there before everything's finished up, right? Because once it's finished up, it's not going to matter. But as soon as you want to be in there while it's getting built up, and if you're selling at that time, that might be pretty fruitful for you. So what's my opinion and what are my strategy tips? I think if you're looking to get in there, buy early. If you're looking to be in the general area, it is a pretty good time to buy there. The prices aren't super outrageous, but they are one of the higher premiums in the city. So keep that in mind when you're looking in that area. And there is a mixture of a lot of different types of homes there. There is some older homes, some century homes, some new builds. The new builds are quite expensive. So depending on what you're looking for and depending on what's available, the problem is you might not have that much availability. You might have to pay a premium for a certain type of property. So just be strategic, find what you really love, and select a certain area where you want to be. If you're buying there, my focus would be to be as close to transit as possible to make it a high value property that is accessible with transit and can appease to a lot of people. I would say don't over-focus on cosmetic finishes because we know that in the Lansdowne area, Centertown, Old Ottawa South, there is a lot of charm to those homes, and not all of them are new builds. Some of them are 100 years old. Some of them are 70 years old. There's a lot of people that do like those style of homes, so don't focus on that too much because you can get a good home that maybe just needs some cosmetic upgrades, and you can still make it look really, really nice while still adding a ton of value to your home. So my strategy would be early, well located. My strategy would be to be first of all early in the game. So looking for well located, lifestyle focused properties. They're most likely going to be the big winners in this market for the coming years. If you want help finding the best properties in Lansdowne 2.0, feel free to click the link below and let's take a look and do a deep dive on what's happening in the area, because I'm telling you, there's honestly some properties that most people are missing out on and aren't looking at the long-term picture and are just looking short-term and comparing to what's available in the market now. And the big thing is you want to be early, but you also want to be long-term focused because in those areas, long-term is key. Now, again, if you guys like this video or want to see more about Lansdowne 2.0, like, follow, and subscribe for more. See you guys soon.